Dear students, this is the fourth lecture of this chapter. Here, this is the brief outline of this week. At the start, we will discuss about the evolutionary pressure in fishes, and under this, we will discuss about nervous and sensory functions, excretion and osmoregulation, reproduction and development, and further phylogenetic considerations. These are the topics of the entire week, and finally we will discuss about the study of the representative group of the class Pyxis of the fishes. This will be the practical. Next, these are the objective of the week: to explain various evolutionary pressure for living in water, to explain further phylogenetic constellation of this class, and this class mean not of this lecture. This class mean of the Pyxis or the fishes. To study few representative group of the class fishes. This will be the experimental portion. Here these are the SLOs. SLOs are at the end of student, what they will learn at the end of this week. Today we will mainly focus on the buoyancy regulation, and after that nervous and sensory function. Here at the start, buoyancy regulation. Generally, fishes need to have their body weight light as they need to move in the water, and they have a low density compound in their body in large amount, and after that their fins provide lift, especially their pectoral fin provide them lift in the water. Heavy tissues are reduced in all the fishes if they want to gain speed in the water and buoyancy regulation. Here they possess swim bladder. About the swim bladder we have discussed in the last lecture. They possess pneumatic sac. Pneumatic sacs are the lung type structures that gulf air, and they are required to breathe on the land in few fishes, like in the lungfishes, and they also possess counter exchange current, that is at the retima levels. These are the special type of the structure attached to swim bladder, and these are very helpful for the gas regulation in the swim bladder. In the next slide we will slightly have a look on this. Here in the shark, generally they possess lightweight skeleton on the scales, mean they don't have so heavy skeleton if they want to move easily in the water bodies, and liver full of lightweight lipids, mean lightweight lipids are present in excessive amount in the liver, and pectoral fin pushes the water down, so lifts shark up. Here these fins generally help the fishes to have a lift up in the water, and shark body is wing shaped. It means they they have a wing shaped body. Wing shaped body, you can say body with a tapering end, is always very favorable in the water bodies or in the air, because it reduces the friction which work against the biophysical mechanism of the water. Here shark also possess tail which also help in the buoyancy. The next diagram is almost the same, particularly the forces which are acting on the upper side or in the up directions are equal to the forces which are working or which are acting upon the downside, so they are equal. We have also discussed about the ram ventilation in our previous lectures, because when you say about the ram ventilation, generally fish needs to move throughout the time for the survival, because if they keep on moving, the water generally pass through the gills and move out from the body through the gills arches or gills opening, but gaseous exchange generally take place. For this type of the movement or for the buoyancy regulation, they generally need to move their pectoral fins constantly, and after that they generally need to move in the water for having their body lifted up, or for the regulation of the buoyancy. They also possess very lightweight oil in their liver. The pectoral fin of the shark are planing devices that help to create lift as the shark moves through the water. This is the same thing that we have explained. Here, the bone of the fishes are generally less dense than those of the terrestrial vertebrates. Mean they have very light skeleton in weight, and after that, as fish regulate buoyancy by precisely controlling the volume of the gas in its swim bladder. Because the swim bladder is a structure which is present inside the body, and it helps for the regulation of buoyancy, and generally it is filled up by various types of the gases which are metabolically produced inside the body, and after that these gases regulate the movement. So as fish regulate buoyancy by precisely controlling the volume of the gases in the swim bladder, these gases are generally produced metabolically, and further they are moved to the swim bladder using the rete mirables. These are the special type of the structure at the junction or at the start of the swim bladder, and after that these gases may be removed from the swim bladder by using ovale. This is the structure which is present at the end of the swim bladder. You will slightly see in the next slide. Here, the pneumatic duct connect the swim bladder of garpike. Garpike is the you can say fish, sturgeons. This is also the type of fish, and other primitive bony fishes to the esophagus and another part of the digestive tract. Sometimes the pneumatic duct connect the swim bladder to the digestive tract, where various type of the gases which are produced, they are moved out to the or delivered to the swim bladder. These fishes gulp air at the surface to force air into their swim bladder. Sometimes these pneumatic duct help these fishes to gain some gases in the air, or obtain some gases in their swim bladder. These are different type of the structures. These are the rete mirables at the start. This is the swim bladder at the start, and this is the ovale. Here this structure is the ovale. Rete mirables generally help to deliver various type of the gases to the swim bladder. However, ovale help to reabsorb these gases after that their function is over. After that, most teleosts have swim bladder that have lost a functional connection to the digestive tract. Most of the fishes have lost their connection to the digestive tract. When you say about their swim bladder don't have a true connection with their digestive tract, but in few fishes swim bladder have a connection with the digestive tract. So we can't say that most fishes have direct connection to the digestive tract and their swim bladder altogether. The blood secrete gases, various mixture of the nitrogen and other type of the gases which are secreted by the metabolic reactions into the swim bladder using a counter current exchange mechanism in a vascular network called the rete mirables. Here, this is the miraculous net. Gases may be reabsorbed into the blood at the posterior end of the bladder, that is the ovale. Here I have told you about the function of the ovale and rete mirables. This is written, and this is the just repetition. Next, we need to discuss about the nervous and sensory functions, which is they also possess established brain and other structures in their body. And sensory receptors are also present external nares and eyes and internal ears. They also possess lateral line system. This is a unique property of the fishes. They possess lateral line system. This contains sensory pit in the skin which detect different type of water movement, and these lateral line system also tell the organism the presence of other organism just passing, and they may be also the possible or potential predator of the very same organism. And after that, they also possess electroreception, mean they detect prey by using electroreception, mean they can detect the electric field of any organism which is just present in the vicinity that may be in a tachyc position on the organism. Gymnarchus and Electrophoros. Electrophoros is a very famous electric eel of the organism which possesses electric organ, and it may generate a very high voltage at once. This is the simple form of the brain of the fishes, which contain different types of the olfactory bulb and olfactory duct. Further, they also possess cerebrum. The central nervous system of the fishes, as in other vertebrates, consists of a brain and a spine. Here, the fish is shown in reference to the nares, external nares. These are present in the snout region, and which are the olfactory receptors. Basically, help the fishes to smell a different type of organism in the vicinity. Here, these are present just in front of the eyes. Opening called the nares in the snout of the fishes lead to the olfactory receptors. In most fishes, receptors are in blind ending olfactory sac. These are the olfactory sac which contain real receptor. In a few fishes, the external nares open to the nasal passages that lead to the mouth cavity. And further, we will discuss in detail about the lateral line system. These are the lateral line system. Recent research has revealed that some fishes rely heavily on their sense of smell. For example, salmon, these are shown here, and these are the lamprey. About the lamprey, you have discussed about that they are generally jawless fishes, and these are the salmon, very well known fishes, and they generally return to their spawning stream in which they had years earlier, and further they once again start their reproductive cycle. The eye of the fishes are similar to most aspects of the structures to those in other vertebrates. They are lidless, mean they don't have lids. However, the lens is round. This is the structure of the eye of fish, containing all the important structure we have learned about the eyes in general. Vibration strikes the fish. Generally, vibration may be the external vibration of the water bodies because of the presence of different type of the organism are amplified by the swim bladder and sent through the ossicle to the skull, where a message is generated for the presence of different type of the organism. Here, head canal system and trunk canal system, these are the different type of the system. Here the lateral line system consists of a sensory pit in the epidermis of the skin that connect to the canal that runs just below the epidermis. Next are the electric fishes. Electric field are used to detect the presence of prey and other object in a murky environment. Murky environment means they are generally not present in the environment which is very clear, so their eyes are not in a conditions to detect the clear view of any object or any prey or the predator, so they may use their electric organs or the electric field to detect the presence of other organism. And this is the name of the electric fish, Gymnarchus niloticus.